In the charming town of Brighton, where the birds sang melodiously, there was a girl named Georgiana. One autumn morning, while walking on the cobblestone streets, there was a candle shop tucked away in the corner. Georgiana saw a peculiar candle on a wooden shelf. Filled with curiosity, she decided to buy it for £1 to 0 cents. That evening, when she lit it up to do homework, she noticed something strange about it, that any time she lights it up, time keeps ticking, her surroundings changes. People getting old and dying every day. The next day, she decided to lit it up and saw that she was in her childhood at the age of 6 years, and yet she was already in her early 20s. Without hesitation, she blew it out. As she perceived the dark smoke, it smelled like witchcraft. Her heart broke into pieces that the manager of whom she bought the candle was selling witchcraft. Without wanting to bring chaos and havoc to the world, she decided to end it for good. But suddenly, the broken pieces were drawing together, forming one. Frightened, she shredded it into pieces, but somehow, someway, they were gluing themselves. She ran back to the shop to demand a refund, but the shop was no longer there. Furious, she went back home and read many books on time candles. As seconds turned into minutes, minutes into hours, hours into days, days into weeks, weeks into months, and finally found the cure. In order to do this, she had to go to the woods and find the. And so, as she embarked on her quest, she discovered red-tailed catfish, red-tailed hawks, yellow sapphires, white sapphires, and green. As she finally reached the wise oak tree, she told her to bring 1 feather from a golden phoenix, 3 petals from a hibiscus flower, and 5 ice crystals, and gave her a map on where to find these 9 treasures in order to break the curse. To find the golden phoenix, she had to travel to the largest city in South Africa, Johannesburg. And so she traveled 9,000 kilometers to Johannesburg. The Abanen precinct was beside the golden cave in which the golden phoenix lived. As she traveled through the fantasy worlds, she landed in the room of the phoenix and tried to look for where to hide, but was captured by her guards. And the phoenix said, "What do thou seek in my home?" Since Georgiana was speechless, she was imprisoned. That evening, when the guards were sleeping, Georgiana created a device to collect the guard's key and sneaked out from the cell. Quickly went to the phoenix room and cut 1 feather, then escaped. She went to the Abanen precinct to rest, then continued her quest. For the hibiscus, she went to Switzerland and crossed the candy cane bridge, but encountered a swarm of fairies that were guarding the hibiscus. So she impressed them by doing art, singing, dancing, and this touched the fairies very much and allowed her to cut 3 petals from the hibiscus. And finally, for the 5 ice crystals, she went to. And when she arrived, she went to a bear's cave, but had to be careful to try not wake them up. As she removed the ice crystals, the ice melted and woke the bear up. Georgiana tried to run as fast as she could. Then she thought of a distraction. She saw fish ahead of her and threw it at the bear. When she finally reached the wise oak tree, she used the feather from the golden phoenix, 3 petals from the hibiscus flower, and the 5 crystals, and used them to cover the candle and caused it a spell. Time, candle, heed my words. Thou shalt not move time again. And a thunder strike hit the candle, turning it to a regular candle. From that day henceforth, Georgiana learned that she should be careful of what she buys and always be vigilant.